Well, hello, good evening and welcome to feeding time at the Vegetable Fruit Zoo, which is Tiki Tunnel number 2. Now today we're going to give them a feed of the comfrey feed, the liquid plant feed that we make from the comfrey plant. We started off a couple of drums of it about 3 weeks ago I think, but it's not quite ready. So luckily we've been gifted a bit from the wise old elf himself, Uncle Joe Lowe from next door. Now, it's good stuff, this comfrey. You don't need a massive amount of it, of the liquid feed. So it's 1 part to 10 of the comfrey mixed in with water, the rainwater that we collect. So that's the plan. I'll show you. Alright, now gloves are on. Or one glove's on actually. Because I can't actually operate the camera on my phone with the rubber gloves on. They're not the sort of touch screen gloves, the gardening gloves, the Verve ones from B&Q. But you give it a bit of a shake up and just top it off with that. So in it goes. Yeah. In that goes. Let it settle down for a bit. I'll pour some in there as well. And then in the other one. You don't need loads of it. They say about 1 in 15 is sufficient. But what we're going to be doing with that is we're going to be pouring it in to our watering stations to feed our plants and pep them up a bit. They were put in last week, but I've not had a chance to come down since last Sunday. So these are probably overdue a bit of a watering and a bit of a feeding. These pepper plants at the front. You can tell by the leaves. They were looking a bit shabby last time. And the tomato plants that I started, you know, the sort of cut off ones that I took from they're like clones, aren't they? You take them as a cutting really from the main plant. Have died off, or they're looking like a bit shabby. It's not really worked that they've not taken. But anyway, that we don't want to be depressed on this show, do we? We want to get these plants fed and get some good results off them. Because the kids stripped them of their cucumbers last week. They took 7 big cucumbers off, and then the week before we took about 4. But as they're growing up there, we'll be getting more and more. You can see all the little cucumbers coming off. And when they start to fruit like this, we need to feed them. They need to be fed with the comfrey feed. So that's the plan. We'll get the comfrey into the watering stations. There I've got 17 litres ready to go. Get them in there. I'll need altogether about 37 litres to give them all a good drink and all a good feed. Right, let's get cracking. Okay, so I've taken the bug protective pots out from there. That's to stop the bugs if they fall in drowning, so they can crawl out. Anyway, there's one. There's 2. You see the holes that are into the watering stations are feeding underground and also trickling above the ground to feed the roots, hopefully, of our plants. Spreading its wings in all directions. Might be able to get another one out of that. Comfrey goodness going in there. You see where it trickles down and feeds down. I'll just put these back on then now to stop the bumblebees and other beneficial insects from drowning if they do fall in and getting stuck. The jobs are good. That one looks a bit blocked, doesn't it? It'll feed down. It'll come out. It'll find a way. But yeah, as I say, it feeds the soil and the root system underground, which in turn then feeds the plant as it grows. Every 10 days we do this, so it's Saturday today, so it'll be a Tuesday, not next Tuesday, but the Tuesday after, when they get another feeding. But the watering is in between, you know. So they'll probably get the watering. I'm going to be careful there because I'll smash my head in as usual on this. Above. Works a treat, this cage, for drying things off and storing things, but unfortunately it's just the right height for me to smash my cranium in every time I come into the polytunnel on it. So I'm going to continue on with this side and then do this side with the sun gold and the plum tomatoes are. You've got the sun gold, sorry, you've got the super sweet 100 either side of this tomatoes. And then all your little cucumber plants in between there. And peppers, fingers crossed. With my rubber gloves. Can't cross my fingers with these rubber gloves on. So let's get going. Swap hands. Well, that's the comfrey. The liquid feed, the comfrey feed. And it's been decanted into these milk cartons. Excuse me. Oh, God. Oh, my old bones. So, I borrowed 1.5 tubs of it. I'm going to be putting some gloves on, some sort of impervious rubber type gloves on when I'm decanting that, because it stinks and you get it on your hands and you smell all day. So I'm going to be decanting that. As you can see, I've filled these up to near the top. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to be pouring some of that into there, so it's like 1 part in 10, 9 parts water, 1 part comfrey feed. Just decant it in there. All right, give us a minute. I'll get my gloves on. Just been checking in the brassica cage. I don't know why I'm whispering, but I don't want to tempt the fates. No cabbage whites about today, so we're all right. Don't have to worry about them in here though. Look at the results. This brassica tent has been phenomenal. See, I thought these here were cabbage because I'm thick. I couldn't remember whether they were cabbage or cauliflower, so I just named them cabbage, but they're not. They're all collie. These are all collies down here, as you can clearly see. These are a smaller variety, but these ones are your standard all the year round. And we've got a glut. We've got a glut of cauliflower. So Joe's having one, and I'm going to take a couple from my mum and my sister and all of that. And we'll share them around because I've not got the freezer space at the moment. I have, but the freezer space is for the broccoli, which again is monstrous. They're just bobbing about all over the place, even the purple sprouting. These are standing now over 4 feet high, these. Joe's gone putting a coffee on for us. We're going to have a brew in a minute because he's going to get off. I've got to get off in half an hour as well, boys and girls. But I just thought I'd show you in here. This has been such a success this year, this brassica tent. They're here as well, see. So I'm going to get Joe a decent one. I might get him that one. I will. I'll chop that out. Get that baby. Chuff with that.
And I won't tell anybody I grew it. I'll tell the truth.
Yeah, he's a cracker, that. Right, I'll see you later, pal.
See you later, Tony. Thanks.
Cheers, man. Ta-da. That'll be cauliflower cheese for Marjorie tonight, that. Anywho, folks, back to the tomatoes and cucumbers. We're back up at the top. Now I'm going to thin out some of the foliage in here and continue to single stem the plants up the canes. Let's crack on. So as the plants continue to grow in a vigorous manner, fingers crossed, they're going to be over foliated, if you like, because they're quite closely planted. So to allow air to get through there, you want a good flow of air coming through your growing setup to prevent the sort of build-up of too much of a moist, warm condition. Moist and warm conditions can tend to lead to fungal problems. down the line. So you need to have that flow of air coming through. That's why we've got the windows on that side. So you've got the warmth in here, you'll also have the humidity in here, and too much of that is not beneficial to the plants. So we're going to clear away some of the lower foliage for a kick-off to allow the air to circulate around the bases of the plants, and also to allow me to get to the back and do some weeding as well, and let the plant continue to grow upwards. But we're going to trim some of the foliage off so it's not overly canopied, if you like. Not too much, but just a little. Now, if that made sense to you, you're clinically insane. But it's necessary. As you can see there, that will allow airflow. Now, I've trimmed off quite a bit of foliage from all of the plants, up to about 18 inches. 12 to 18 inches off the base, yeah, and that will callus over in the same way that has. So whatever's been trimmed off will callus over, and you'll get that vertical growth. The plant will divert its energy into vertical growing and lateral feeding of the vines. That's the idea. Joe always says you can't eat the leaf. Now, you do need a certain amount of foliage on to assist in the growth of the plant, but you don't need a lot of foliage, because the energy from the feed and the root system goes into the leaf rather than going in to the fruiting, which is what you want. You want the fruits. And there we go, that's the theory anyway. It works for Joe. So they'll continue on up the top, and then they'll be headed off, clipped out when it starts to hang over at the tops. We'll clip them out, and we'll allow some more sort of lateral growth to come through. Well, hopefully we'll have all the fruits on then, and the fruits will be fed, the fruits will be nourished, the fruits will grow into lovely edible tomatoes for us. That is the theory. And that is the practice. Just using a pair of scissors to trim off the excess foliage and the suckers. So because we're single stemming, what's called single stemming, we're going to have one growing stem going all the way up, and then any suckers that you get on, you take it away then. And so the plant is feeding the single stem and feeding the tomatoes that grow upon that single stem as it goes up, and keeping them pruned like that, shaving the legs if you like, giving them a bit of a haircut, should minimise the chance of any sort of fungal attack, tomato blight and things like that. You're lessening the chances of it because you've not got that overgrowth, you've not got that excessive moisture build up and rot that can take place. All right. So basically, it's a bit of plant husbandry and care and maintenance, and that's all you've got to do. Keep them fed. Don't overwater them. Don't underwater them. That's a trick in itself. And yeah, make sure that they're, or as best as you can, make sure that you're not getting too much possibility of the blight. You're minimising the chance of the tomato blight and other diseases that you can get from overcrowding. Alright. Catch you in a bit, boys and girls. I've got to get off now. Because the lady farmer's going out for a meal with her friend Fiona. And the football's on. So me and the lads are going to watch the football while they go and have a meal. Saturday night tonight. Don't get too drunk, boys and girls. You're up for the plots tomorrow. And if I don't see you through the week, I'll see you through the window. This will be Guru Murphinda, toothless yet again, because of his oral problem. Well, an oral problem. He's got a bit of an inflamed gum on that side, which is getting sorted next week. So yeah, crack on, boys and girls. Take care of yourselves and each other. And remember, keep growing with Yeds down. And I hope you have a healthy, hearty and fruitful harvest. Bye-bye now, guys. Ta-da. Got to the back as well and done the weeding, which is always good. Catch you later, guys.